We're here at the dog show, and we're competing a little bit, and I ran into a person I never met before, Derek.
Correct.
And this is your dog. What's his name?
Tonka.
Tonka. So, Derek, you're obviously, there's no secret, you're in a wheelchair. Do you mind talking about your injury for a quick second? What happened?
No, I was about 22 years ago. I was in a one-car automobile accident, and I was a professional soccer player before that. And as soon as that happened, I became a C4-5 incomplete quadriplegic.
So a quadriplegic means you lost use of your legs or?
All my limbs are affected since I'm incomplete.
Okay.
All my limbs are affected, but I can move them. My legs, I can stand a little bit and move my hands. But you can see I don't have very good dexterity.
Yeah, I saw that in your fingers.
And but there's another stipulation out there. You can be complete where you would have no movement.
Okay.
But that's how I was for the first 2 weeks. I couldn't move anything.
Wow.
But then started slowly coming back.
Okay, and that was 22 years ago. Now, the one thing, and the reason I wanted to interview you is because you have a service dog. Okay, I have a huge pet peeve with people who have service dogs because I think most of them are fake service dogs, right? Now, Tonka, obviously, from what I've seen, and I've watched him for a while before I came over to talk to you, and Janet has seen him too, is he's obviously a real service dog. So first of all, I want to say that this is why people need service dogs. You have purpose for this, and you're going to show us some things he can do as well a little bit later. But tell me first of all where you got him, what his training is, and what he does for you. Just explain it to me, just verbally.
Well, he is from the best organization in the country, Canine Companions. And I've had them for 3.5 years. Their training is the first 18 months. They go through and get trained by a puppy raiser, such as yourself, a family.
Right.
What's interesting about him is he was puppy raised by a prison, a prison system in Colorado by 2 female inmates.
Okay.
So they were his puppy raisers. Then they go back to Canine Companions for the last 6 months of their specialized training.
Okay, and what would specialized training look like? What's involved in that?
Like doing light bulbs, switching light bulbs on and off, opening up those automatic doors that you see at places, getting specific items off the ground, tugging.
Okay.
Tugging doors, tugging.
Like refrigerator opening that would be very hard for you to do, obviously, right? Okay. And his demeanor, his overall temperament is just spectacular, right? I mean, I saw dogs running around him and barking and everything like that, and his response is 0, right? He's focused on you like a service dog should be.
Yes.
So here's the $1 million question, because it infuriates me when I see people with service dogs and they're lunging at other dogs.
Infuriates me as well.
Right. So my fear is always that you've got a real service dog and you really, really need it. You're not just some person saying, well, I need to get on a plane and I'm going to take my dog on a plane, because I think it's a whole bunch of crock of shit, right? But he's actually providing an amazing service for you, helping you through this. What is the risk for you if some crazy person gets a dog from the shelter and says, I'm going to train it to be my service dog, and it lunges and bites your dog?
Well, obviously the risk for anybody to get bit by a dog, but I mean, if I lose him, I lose 3/4 of my independence, if not all of my independence. With him, he allows me to go out during the day to come to events like this by myself. I don't have to worry about dropping my keys somewhere or not being able to get somewhere because I can't functionally do it.
Yeah.
So if I lost him, I'd lose my life.
Yeah.
And it's a tough thing to do. I go to bed every night thinking about him, and I wake up every morning thinking about him.
Yeah.
And we've been together for 3.5 years, and I think we've spent all of maybe 6 hours away from each other.
I love that. And I just love the fact that when you first got him, you didn't have a dog before, because 22 years.
This is my first.
Oh, this is your first. Okay, so 22 years ago you had the accident.
I think it was. People asked me why I didn't go before, and I always thought about it.
Yeah.
But I think it was because Tonka was not ready.
Okay. Okay.
That's the way I look at it.
I like that. And so before you had a service dog, tell me the difference. You said you've come to an event like this by yourself and gives you such freedom and empowers you, which, I mean, so much of your power was stripped away from you at that moment when you had the accident. Like, what was it like before you had Tonka? Like, what did you do?
I always have to ask people for help, and in a couple situations, which people are glad to help, they love to help, and I like to take it if I need it, but I also like to be as independent as I can.
Sure.
But there was a couple situations where I'm out on the road, and I was on the sidewalk going to a speaking engagement, public speaking engagement, and I dropped my bag over here, and it's got my wallet and everything in it, and I'm out in the middle where there's no people, and I actually literally had to sit there for about 25 minutes, leave that there, for about 25 minutes and wait for somebody to come by, and I actually ended up being about 10 minutes late to the public speaking.
Because you couldn't do it.
Because I couldn't get it, and I can't just leave it there. It's got my wallet.
Of course, of course. And why should you have to, right?
Yep.
So now your bottle just fell down, and you said don't touch because he's going to get that.
Yes.
That's something that he doesn't. He's trained to do.
Yeah.
Now, you obviously did not train your own service dog.
No.
Okay, so a real service dog is not one that I go get and happen to like the way he looks, and then I go, oh, I'm going to train him to be my service dog, and what do I do if he doesn't do it? That's not even in the equation, is it?
No. Professionally speaking, no. You could, on your own, you'd have to go through extensive training. I mean, it's not just buy a service cape off of Amazon and teach them how to sit and stuff like that, and say call them a service dog.
Yeah. And let's talk about that for a second, because a lot of people do that, right? They get the fake badges, they get the fake vest and all that, and they're constantly, and then they say it's a service dog, and then they bullshit people, and then they force their way into a store, a restaurant, an airplane with this dog.
Establishments have to, all they can do is ask, is that a service dog?
And what service does he provide?
Yes.
Right, that's according to the ADA, that's the stipulation, right?
Yes.
So many people know that, and then they just take advantage of the situation.
Absolutely.
And fly free with the dog. I would like to take my dog on an airplane with me too, but it's not right, so that's why I don't do it.
It used to be on airlines, they used to require papers.
Yeah.
But I don't think they do anymore.
They don't.
Yeah, they don't.
You know, so a guy like you has a real service dog, and then this guy over here, this clown, has a fake service dog, and eventually it's gonna ruin your dog.
Yeah, well, thank God for him. His demeanor is such that nothing bothers him, nothing cares. When he has this vest on, he's all business.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and it gets annoying when you go to a store, you go to the mall, you go place, and all of a sudden you have dogs barking at you.
Yeah.
And if it's behind him, and I don't see him coming, it kind of scares him. And it's just.
And he's going to respond.
It's not right. Well, he's going to respond by getting off duty, by turning and looking around. Maybe I need to do something quick.
What message? Because I just get furious. I just want to get in people's faces when they do it. It just drives me. It infuriates. It angers me. And there are people who need real PTSD dogs. But again, most of these dogs are not pets, and they don't just get the owners buys a cape and does a little bit of training and does this. It started as a puppy. Obviously this dog was bred for this reason. As you can see it in his temperament, it's not just like, oh, he's trying to do something. This is his lifeblood. But what message would you give to somebody if somebody has an ounce of compassion in their soul, and this is why I'm interviewing Derek on this, what would you say to them, to not have a fake service dog?
The message I would send is that people who have real service dogs need that dog for a specific reason.
Yeah.
And a person that has a quote-unquote fake service dog, if they don't have the right temperament, they are going to interfere with that service dog's duty.
Yeah.
Not only that, but it interferes with people and interferes with just daily life of people, because these dogs they're not supposed to be around people in a environmentally setting that has a big crowd.
A stimulation.
Yeah.
Right. They
want to smell everything.
Yeah.
They want to, and it's just not right.
Like, I'm sitting so close to this. I mean, my right leg is touching his left shoulder, and he has not looked at me, not sniffed me, not raised his paw to me. And this, if you're talking about a real service dog, this is real. Like, this dog hasn't budged, people. Like, that's not like your pit bull or Shar-Pei or fake lab that runs up and starts kissing me and jumping up on me, and you're telling me, oh, it's a service dog, you're trying to rein him back. That ain't real. This is real. And this dog empowers a young man like Derek to live his life, like to have a real life. And your fake service dog is a potential ruin to that. It would lunge at this dog or bite this dog or do something, and the dog gets off track, and you're robbing a person who is robbed of his freedom already with this extension that actually affords him some kind of dignity, life, freedom, and stuff like that, which is so important. So if you have any compassion in your heart, don't do a fake service dog. Understand that when you do a fake service dog, you're doing a disservice to a dog that is meant to open a person's life up who deserves this chance. This is so huge. So I would love to have you show me a couple things that he can do, and obviously that he was professionally trained to do. And okay, so then we see the bottles dropped.
Tucker, get. He is very deliberate.
Mm-hmm.
Get. He's very deliberate.
It's very deliberate, yeah.
Perfectly. That's it. That's a boy. That's a boy. You got it. Come on. You got it. You got it. You got it. Keep going. You got it. Come on. Come on. You got it. Yeah. Up there. Up there. Thank you. Good boy.
Now that's a very hard texture for dogs to pick up too.
Well, yeah, that's the hardest thing. Tonka, heel. It's hard for dogs with different surfaces and different textures, different feels. That's why a lot of things like my water ball, I'll work with at home, so he has an idea. A lot of times he picks it up by the handle here.
Yeah.
And this bag,
Okay.
I work with it at home. It's got a bunch of stuff in it.
Yeah.
He's actually got my wallet, and that's another thing he does is I'm at a check stand,
Yeah.
and I'll give him my wallet, and he'll jump up on the counter and hand my wallet to the register
Because you
lady.
can't reach, right? Your arms are limited in movement.
Yeah.
So you hand your wallet to Tonka, and Tonka will hand it to the clerk.
He'll jump up on the counter and hand it to her.
Wow.
And then she'll give it back to him when she's done and give it back to me.
Is there anything else you can show us that he can do? Is there another demonstration maybe?
Very nice.
Awesome.
Good job. Visit. Very nice.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. So it's not only like these, just a simple, because the simplest thing of like grabbing that bottle and picking it up is a simple thing, but for you it's impossible.
Yes.
Right, you're stuck. You're sitting here without the ability to do that. And in the entire time you were doing this, there's other dogs going by, right? This is a huge distraction. There's dogs running agility behind us. I'm going to show a little video of that.
Good boy.
There's dogs like passing right by us. There's a dog peeing behind him, sniffing him, and then there's a lady walking by going, hey, 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 distracting your dog, right?
And it does distract him for a second sometimes.
Yeah.
But then there's a cue, which is don't.
Right.
And sometimes I pull a collar. It's just a little don't.
Yep.
And then you tell them the command again.
Yeah.
And that's all taught to you at CCI.
One of the things I'm really touched by, and I'm going to just end on this, is this connection you guys have.
Yeah, our bond, they say it takes usually 6 months to a year to bond. And it does take that long.
Yeah.
But he doesn't do anything in the house or anything without me having to tell him, even when he's on free time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's just, he's an incredible, I call him a human being.
Yeah.
But when he takes the vest off and he has this prong collar off,
yeah,
he's a dog.
He has to be a dog then. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I mean, you're amazing. I mean, the fact that you're going through this, and my mom's handicapped. I've known people. To me, like, you're a hero. You're like a role model, and your dog is a hero. And I want to, I'm going to put a link up to your organization that this dog came from.
Canine Companions.
Canine Companions, because this is a real. So if you really need a service dog, you're not going to get one out of the shelter. And I'm not slamming shelters.
It's the best place in the country.
Yeah, I'm not against shelter dogs. Trust me, you guys all know me. You know my work with shelters, but this is a real service dog that provides a real service for somebody who really needs one, not somebody who's trying to get a free airplane ticket. And I bust your balls when I see people doing it with fake service dogs. It drives me batty. So thank you so much for your time.
Let's end it on with Tonka saying goodbye.
Will he say that? Will he say goodbye?
Well, you won't say goodbye.
Well, no, but will he greet goodbye?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. Let's get it on Tonka, and Tonka's going to say goodbye.
Stand. Tonka, speak. Good boy.
What a good boy. And I mean, I would also like to say that if somebody sees you with this dog, how much can you stress, please don't touch this dog. Don't engage my dog.
Well, it's just, as you can see with it's just a distraction. With him, he will not, he really won't respond to you.
Yeah.
Unless if he sees my mom or my dad.
Yeah.
He wags his tail and stuff,
Yeah.
but he won't go up to him until I tell him it's okay. But,
But people should leave him alone, right? Just because eventually you can break that down, and you don't want to do that because it defeats the purpose of service dog. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really pleasure. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you.